Hi, this is Justin. Today I'm going to show you how to add a linear regression line into an analysis in OBIEE 11G. We're going to be using the evaluate aggregate function. This lets us take a data set and send it to the database for execution. We're going to use the regression intercept and regression slope, and then once we get those values back, we'll just plug them into our y equals mx plus b to get our linear regression line. So this is an example of what we're going to do. Here I just have some sample data, which is revenue, and you can see there's an increasing trend, and then we've put in the red, we have a linear regression line. Whenever you're doing this, the input for your x-axis has to be a number. So I just chose the day of the year, and in this case I limited my data down to the first 2 quarters of the year. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to take whatever your data is and get it so that both your y and x values are numbers that can be sent to the database to have the linear regression values calculated. So this is what we're going to go for, and now let me go and show you what we're going to do. Okay, so here is the same analysis, but it doesn't have any of the regression stuff added, and I'll show you how to get there. You can see same line, upward trend. Our criteria, very simple. I'm using the sample sales subject area in OBIEE sample app version 406, and I just chose day of year, revenue for the day of year, and then I chose for the quarter, just quarter 1 and quarter 2, 2011. There's a lot you can do to apply this to fit your need, but I just wanted some y values that were numbers and some x values that were numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple more columns, and I actually need three. You could do it all in one, but I'm going to go for my slope, my intercept, and then finally the best fit value, which is the slope and intercept. So I edit the formula, call this slope. I'll let the aggregation be server determined. And then here I'm going to use my evaluate aggregate function. So here's an example of what we need to do. Evaluate aggregate, and then in quotes we send the database function we want evaluated. We use the references here and then the values for those references. So let me show you how we do this. Go evaluate aggregate, and then there's 3 things I need to give it, and the first one is regression slope, which has 2 things I need to add, and I just go %1, comma, %2, and then here I provide the 2 different inputs. Now the form of regression slope is y then x, so my y is revenue, and then my x is day of year, and press OK, no errors, and real quick let's go and see if that works. Well, it definitely calculated. show a data table. Okay, we have a slope of 450. So let's do the same thing for intercept. Intercept, server determined, and it's going to be the same thing. Go evaluate aggregate, and there's 3 things I need to add, and it's regression intercept. %1% 2, and then again yx. Y is revenue, X is day of year. Okay. So I have slope, intercept, and then now let's finally add our regression line. Now when we're ultimately done, you don't need the slope and intercept. I just find sometimes it's easier to do things a little bit more piecewise. So I'm going to set the same server determined, and now it's very simple in that I have to say my y is what we're returning as the value here, equals m times x plus b. So I'm just going to go and replace these variables. I know m is my slope. It's going to populate that. X is my day of the year. It's my input on my x-axis. And b is my intercept. I'll press OK. No problems. And you can see in green we have it. So you can just quickly clean this up and remove the slope and intercept because you really don't have any use for those on your chart. And that is how you do it. Once you have those values, there are a couple things we could do if we wanted to add a pivot table. We know that slope and intercept are the same for every single row in our analysis. So what we could do is in this pivot table, we could just say, you know what, I want a pivot table that just has 2 cells, and I would do that by removing the things we don't want. And this may be useful to our users to know that the line that they see here has the slope of $450 per day. I think that's what it has. Yeah, $450 per day, and the intercept at day 0 is $19,126. So I hope you all found this helpful. Again, this is a very simplistic example, but once you have this basic functionality down, you can really extend it to a lot of different areas and make it something very useful for yourself. One quick thing to mention, this is, we're using regression intercept and regression slope to actually do the work. So OBIEE isn't doing the work. We're having the underlying database do the work. So I'm using sample app version 406, where it's OBIEE on top of the entire Oracle stack with an Oracle database underneath. This may not work in different instances where you maybe have OBIEE on top of a Microsoft database. I don't know a lot about how that would change what we're trying to do here. But I hope you all learned something and can use this in your own development.